So today we're joined by Brad Sugars, best-selling author, keynote speaker, and the #1 business coach in the world. Over the course of his 30-year career as an entrepreneur, Brad has become the CEO of 9+ companies and is the owner of a multi-million-dollar franchise, ActionCOACH. Great to have you on the Unified Brand podcast, Brad. It'd be good to learn more about yourself, what you do, and why you do what you do.
Hey, thanks, Chris. Yeah, look, marketing has been my lifeblood for a lot of years, and it's something that I enjoy. And I think even if I wasn't having to do marketing, I would still read about marketing and start studying it and keep the learning. The latest book, actually, I just wrote, Raise Your Hand Marketing, because it's that book number 18 of mine. Because I just found in some of the new companies we were buying, we had to do marketing differently, especially after COVID.
Yeah, so what were some of the things just on that you started to notice that were different and that had changed post-COVID to a pre-COVID world?
Yeah, and it's not just COVID, but it's the way the market has shifted. The first thing we noticed was that people were doing, there was either the instant purchase, during COVID, which was I need an air purifier, and that was an instant purchase, or people were doing a lot more research. And I think one of the big things that we noticed, and the research is now showing this, is that people, don't want to deal with a salesperson. About 40% of people surveyed nowadays will say they don't want to deal with a salesperson. They actually just want to buy it themselves. So you need to be able to give them enough knowledge to be able to make that purchase online. And if they can't find the knowledge, they will just go somewhere else. If they can't find your price online, they're not going to go, oh, let me keep searching for their price. It must be here somewhere. They're just going to hit that old #1 used button on the internet, the back button, and go to find someone else, sort of thing. So we found that also people are, about most occasions now, they're getting themselves to somewhere between 60 and 80% sold before connecting with you. So they're watching the videos, they're doing that. And we notice it through our online analytics. We see that if someone's only seen 1 or 2 pages and connects with us, we know that that's going to be a low value prospect and going to need a high level of communication going forward. All of the drip mails and all of that sort of stuff. But if someone's gone and looked at, say, 30 odd pages online, we know that that person's ready to buy. So, they were 2 of the things. We also shifted a lot of our marketing from hunting to farming. That hunting style marketing of run an ad, run a thing, have someone buy, to now run an ad, have someone raise your hand. Hence why the book's called Raise Your Hand Marketing, because we have them raise their hand and say, hey, I'm kind of interested in that. They'll download an ebook, or they'll subscribe to a webinar, or they'll do something along those lines that says, all right, I'm interested. How do I get more information on this? How do I get to learn more? And so they're sort of the main things that we found we needed to shift and change during COVID.
Yeah, interesting. So in terms of raising your hand, what are the things that you look to do when you're creating something to make your target audience raise their hand? How do you go about the process of working out what that is and how to create it?
Yes, multiple different ways. The first way is thinking about what is it that they're buying and what will indicate that they're interested. So, for example, I'll use us here at ActionCOACH. We run a management training program, and that management training program, so we would write ebooks or do videos or webinars around management. So, the 7 keys to great management, the 17 things you got to learn if you're looking to be promoted into management. You know what I mean? Like, we create that knowledge product for that. If I look at, say, my commercial cleaning business, we'll look at in that, again, we use ebooks, we use videos, we use those sort of things, but it's more along the lines of, I know there's one we have, which is the 11 things you should be asking before you hire a commercial cleaner for your gymnasium. So we do a lot of gymnasiums. So again, really niched down so that our advertising on Google and Facebook and Insta and YouTube can be really highly targeted to gym owners. And they're a gym owner because it says in their profile they're a gym owner. They're a gym owner because it says it on all the other things that they do and from what they've searched. So that's one methodology. Then we look at problems and benefits. So you look at, say, again, for us at Action Coach, someone coming in for sales training. Okay. So we go to the sales training and we talk about, here's the 10 things most salespeople fail at. And so again, giving them a reason to raise their hand. It could be a webinar then on the 7 most important things salespeople need to know post-COVID. So that gets them to raise their hand and say, hey, I'm interested in that. And then obviously through communication, they learn that we have the sales training available and we qualify them and then lead them to purchase. And then the fourth methodology is reverse engineering. So we use Google Analytics, obviously. We go and look at sales training and you punch into Google Analytics sales training. What are people searching for that's similar to that? So, for instance, my wife has a business. Actually, she just sold her business. But it was in the party planning for kids, right? So they do Slumberfest sleepovers. So sleepovers, kids' birthdays. So once we did the Google reverse algorithm and we looked at the subjects that moms were searching for in Las Vegas for kids' birthday parties, so we wrote articles on the blog, the 7 best ideas for kids' sleepover birthday parties. So the blog posts and the vlogs, so the videos and the blogs and your Pinterest posts, they all become things that are what these moms are searching for in order to buy that product or service. And again, you create a downloadable form, when you go to Pinterest, you're looking at infographics. So you have an infographic that is the downloadable checklist of these are the things that moms should be doing to create a great kid's birthday party. So moms go into Pinterest, they download that. To download it, they got to click the image, which takes them to my site, which takes them to the blog. Therefore, they're on our website reading about that sort of thing. So your blog articles, your tools, your gifts, your giveaways, all of these things are educating the customer to buy. You've got to remember that an educational session will move a customer so much faster through the sales process than would a sales call. And by creating all of this, it also makes your salespeople's jobs easier. Instead of the salesperson having to actually do the work of educating the customer, they can send them the ebook or send them the video or send them the podcast or send them the whatever, so that the salesperson now doesn't have to do a lot of the work. The video does the work type things. That's one other example. Oh, we're a franchise business, and in our franchise, we literally have 9 one-hour videos for someone to go in. Once they've watched the first one or attended a webinar on the first one, then they will indicate they're interested. They'll give us their contact details. They'll get access to the other videos so they can self-educate the purchase. And I think it's really important to allow people today to self-educate their purchase. And the more information you can give them, the better.
Yes, that's kind of poignant with regards to what you're saying about the kids' parties, because we just had our daughter's 7-year-old party, and we were looking on Pinterest for things like Pokemon, how to design things and that. And also, actually, we created a lead magnet a while ago, which was called the Unified Brand, which where the podcast gets its name. Yeah. And I remember giving it to a potential prospect, and they gave me a call the next day to say that they'd sat up in bed with their business partner, who was their wife at the time, reading it through it a few times because it was so it just caught them. Is there anything, so when you do your research for lead magnets, is there a way that you kind of, we've already talked about how you sort of angle it at that target audience, but is there anything that you add into it that makes it that little bit more, take them to the next step?
Well, it's got to give value. And I think that's a lot of lead magnets fail because they don't actually offer real value. And it's why a lot of blog articles fail. They don't offer real value. You look at a blog article today that's, people trying to do 300 and 400 word blog articles, it doesn't work. If you're not 1,500 to 3,000 words today, your blog article is not getting focused. If you don't have a decent quote in your blog article, Google's not going to put you up front. If you don't have a decent infographic in your blog article, Google's not going to rank you up front. If you don't have a video with your blog article, you've got to put it's historically what I saw, Chris, is people try to do a lot of riddles. And I think today what you've got to do to break through the clutter is put a lot of energy and effort into 1 or 2, not a little bit of energy into 10 or 20. Volume used to be the play. but the play is no longer volume. If you look at a lead magnet that doesn't have well graphic design, it's not designed well, it doesn't look good. People say, people often ask me, why do I write so many books and stuff? Well, I wrote Raise Your Hand Marketing because I own 2 marketing agencies. So I'm using that as a lead magnet for my 2 marketing agencies, and I'm not giving away a 10-page flimsy photocopied ebook. I've published a beautiful cover like this one for my executive business coaching program. I did this book. Now, this book is pulling profits. It's a 2.7-pound full color print. When you ship it to someone, like when an executive for a Fortune 1000 company says, yeah, I'd like that information, and you ship this to them in a beautiful box, the whole thing arrives on their desk, they pick it up, and they go, what is this? It's 2.7 pounds. No one's seen a book that heavy and eating this. But that's where the extra quality you put into that lead magnet, the extra time and energy you put into it, shows the caliber of the work you do. A great book many years ago, my dentist actually wrote it. His name is Patty Lund, and he called it Critical Non-Essentials. And the way he termed things, he said, there are things that you need to do that are not essential, but they're critical. And it's like the way you do things, the way you do the small things shows people the way you do the big things. And so that ebook or that video you do. Now, yes, you can do social media videos that are, done on the fly. I do a thing called drive time. Now my assistant said, you're not doing enough drive time. I said, well, I haven't been driving anywhere. The kids are on summer vacation. I don't drop my kids to school anymore. I said, well, what do you do? I said, well, I walk the dog. She said, good, do dog time. So now while I'm walking the dog, I pull my video out and I do a 5-minute thing teaching people something, and people get excited about that stuff. But ultimately, Chris, it comes back to a thing. Marketing, and this is my definition of marketing, marketing is profitably buying lifetime customers. So if you think about it, you've got to buy these customers. So how much you invest to buy them obviously needs to be at a profit. If I invest $20 to buy a lead, and if 1 in every 10 leads becomes a customer, I've invested $200 to buy that customer. I better be selling them something for more than $200 or I'm out of business type thing. So, but most companies just aren't investing enough in their marketing to, and as my word is investing, it's not spending. You don't spend on marketing, you invest in marketing. It should be the biggest amount of money out of your company should be in marketing if you want acquisition and growth. It really should. But, most companies don't see it that way. That's why I wrote this one, Buying Customers. It's now 2.0. That's the original version. I rewrote it. 2.0 is out now. So